Yo, what's going on, fam? It's your boy, Anthony O'Neill, and welcome back to the table where you guys know, say it with me. Here is where we have a real, relatable, and...
relevant.
Here's where we have a real, relevant, and...
relevant.
No. I said relevant. You were supposed to say relatable.
You said relevant this time?
The second time. Yep. Y'all pray
Real.
for my...
Relatable.
Y'all pray for my boy Connor, man. He can't hang with me because here at the table, you never know what you're going to get from your boy. Like, for an example, today, y'all, we have a special guest. We have my brother, the one and only Trent Shelton, who is a world-renowned influencer, 1.9 to 2 million followers on Instagram. He is a motivational speaker, a former NFL player, and founder of the nonprofit Rehab Time. If you follow him on social media, you already know he addresses his followers by rehab. Yo, we're going to have a conversation with my brother, so let's go straight to it. Yo, what's going on, Trent, man? How are you? Thanks so much for coming on the table, man. How are you, bro?
Andy, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for sharing your platform. Obviously, 2020 has been a phenomenal year. I always tell people you can look at it one or two ways. So I'm just trying to find the ways to adjust and just find the beauty in it with me and my family and just me and my business.
Dude, that's interesting. You said phenomenal year.
Yeah.
That's the first person I've interviewed that said phenomenal. The words I hear often is 2020 sucks. 2020 is interesting. 2020 is not my year. Can I go back to 2019? But I like what you said. You said it's been a phenomenal year. I don't want to live here, but I'm asking all my guests this month. Like, we've been through a phenomenal year, in your words, from the pandemic to these racial issues that we're dealing with. Your video went viral on the George Floyd case on Instagram and Facebook. It inspired me. You touched me. I find it very interesting. People with our platforms and your platform as well, we get attacked for not saying things all the time. I'm curious, what made you come out on your platform? Because I've been following for some time now, and you're like me. We don't address everything, but what made you want to address this situation?
It hit me directly. And I mean, a lot of situations hit me directly. And over the years, I've done spoken words like Divided States of America. I'll talk about certain things because I'm just big on, action too. But I feel like with social media, you can bring awareness. So I don't want to take away from, if you're just posting it, it's not enough. So I want to use my platform to really speak out on this time, especially with me being a Black man, my experiences that I had with me having a son, just with me mentoring and just having the opportunity to have a platform to bring awareness and open people's eyes that might have been blind, whether they chose to stay blind to it or whether they just didn't know about it. So I want to do my part just with empathy. And I always say, if that was me, how would I want people to fight for me? And that always pierces my heart every single time.
Man, I love it. And I appreciate you for speaking up and saying something. I really, really do. I believe right now, all of us with the platform need to say something to bring hope and inspiration to today's day and time. Has COVID impacted you at all? I know you're a speaker out there traveling the world. Has it impacted you and your family?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every facet of it. I mean, obviously, I'm out traveling, doing speaking engagements, doing more virtual stuff. Also with sports, I coach a youth team, so Texas is opening back up.
Okay.
Well, it's already opened up. So it's just kind of a weird place. I mean, it's like you want to, but you don't want to. And my mom has cancer, so I haven't been able to be around my mom much with the kids. So a lot of it has affected a lot of our life, obviously. But again, the reason I use phenomenal is, I always just believe your perspective can be your power, your prison. So I'm always looking at things and saying, okay, because of this, what's going to come out of it? And obviously, I've got to spend more time with my kids and my family that I wouldn't have gotten to spend this year. This year was supposed to be my busiest year traveling. So I look at it from that aspect. I look at it from the aspect of having me think more creatively with my business and my company and doing different things. And so I'm just going to look back on this year, and I just encourage everybody out there to look back on this year or to forward think and say, okay, 5 years from now, it's going to be two types of people. It's going to be one person that says, because of this year, everything was ruined and this is how the rest of my story went. Yeah. Or it's going to be a person that says, you know what, this year did suck, but I just know that through the struggle, strength is produced. And that's how you grow. Yeah. And so that's the way I'm choosing to look at it. So I already in my podcast, I said, I'm going to write a thank you letter to 2020 for really changing my life and my business and elevating it. So that's just the way I'm looking at it.
Hey, bro, you're right. I mean, 2020 is supposed to be my biggest year traveling and financially, just to be transparent. And it's not. It's definitely not going to be that year for me, too. So I totally, man, bro, I get it. I get it. Last year, you came out with a book in 2019, The Greatest You. Phenomenal book. I had an opportunity to read that, but I'm really excited because this year, I think in August, you're going to be releasing a brand new book called Straight Up. Honest, unfiltered, as real as I can put it, advice for life's biggest challenges. Give us some input, not some input, but some secrets about what's in the book. What can we expect? Who is it for? And how will it impact us, bro?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this one. Like The Greatest You, I don't want to take away from it. Yeah. I love The Greatest You, but I felt like The Greatest You was for a reader. You know, it's an easy read, but it's still for a reader. And I'm a person, I'll just be honest with you, like, even to this day, I don't enjoy reading books. On, man. I do it because I know that I need to obtain knowledge that I don't have.
Yes, sir.
And so when I sourced this book, because it's tailored to youth, and I just did a source through my Snapchat, and I was like, hey, how many of y'all read books? They were like, none of us read books. And I was like, man, what could I do to actually impact? And so I went to my son, and I said, like, how would you like to read if I gave you something that was short? I mean, every single day that was to the point which you read. And he was like, yes, I would do it. And so this book, Straight Up, if you love my videos, if you love any content I put out, this book is going to really speak to you. I feel like it is me in written form from the video. And so it's 52 lessons that I'm straight up about. Okay. It has 12 sections in there. So I'm straight up about relationships. I'm straight up about sex. I'm straight up about pain and suffering. I'm straight up about your environment. So I wrote this from a place of talking into the 13, 15, 16, 22, 23, even the 30-year-old Trent. What were the things that I would have wanted people in my life to be straight up about? Now, my father, great man. He's been straight up with me about a lot of things. But just even things like about sex, they don't tell you why not to have sex. Obviously, you just don't do it. But like all these things can come with it. Like having a child prematurely could take away from your dreams. It's expensive.
Yes.
These things I wish I would have knew. So it's very unfiltered. It's still kid friendly. Yeah. But it's stuff that kids really need to hear. And if you're a parent out there that you're trying to get through to your kids, sometimes it's hard to do that. Even with my son, you know, I'm dad to him. So I'm always
How old is your son?
Try to bring another voice. Tristan is 11 years old.
11 years old. All right. So let's go there. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk to me like I'm your son. I'm your 11-year-old son right now, and I come to you and I say, Pops, what are the first couple of things I need to know about relationships and building healthy relationships? Or maybe I'm interested into a girl. Like, how would you start that conversation with me as an 11-year-old Anthony O'Neal? Yeah,
so it's funny because he just went through a breakup. I mean, I'm not laughing at that, but yeah. He went through.
11 years old. He went through a breakup.
Yeah.
Oh, you a good daddy letting him date at 11. I ain't gonna be real with you, man. Oh Lord.
So he went through his breakup, and I mean, he handled it like a champ. You know, he understood, and maybe it's because he's around. He sees. I mean, from my wife, just from me, but he handled it like a champ, and we just had a conversation. You know, I asked, of course, why did she break up with you? And obviously we're moving, she's moving, all this different stuff, right? It was like super deep for an 11-year-old conversation. the things that I tell them is, and that's the thing too. I mean, when we think about when we were younger, like the advancement of like where 11-year-old is now is just like they're like 22. It's crazy. So the things that I tell him though is first, you have to have a relationship with yourself. Yeah. The thing that I tell Tris is like, man, you have to know who you are. I really implement like understanding his emotions, understanding his worth and his value, because if you don't know these things, if you don't have a vision of those things and understand it, then it's very hard to navigate the relationships because you don't know exactly what you want. You end up selling for less, etc. So that's the first place. The second place is, I think it's just the common law is, treat others how you want to be treated.
That's good.
And so if you expect respect, if you want people to give you respect, you have to be able to give it. That's not just in, relationships, but friendships also. And so I'm always telling him to be an example of what you wish to receive. And that's the message that I impart on him. And I mean, in this, I'm talking about how to deal with heartbreak,
Yeah.
red flags in relationships,
Yeah.
and we talk about sex in this book. So those are the 3 relationship topics we touch on.
You know what? I appreciate you for doing this because, I'm going to be real. With my parents growing up, I had 2 real conversations, like 2 important conversations. The very first conversation was about the law, what to do if I'm approached by the police, how to get home, how do I respond, how do I get to them so they can protect and provide for me there. Then the second conversation was the law from a biblical perspective. Like, hey, here's how you do not go to hell. Don't have sex. Right. Don't rob. Don't do this. Don't do that. If you do this, you're going to hell. And we want you to go to heaven. But I never had the conversation that, sex was made by God, and relationships are good, the right ones that are good. And here's what you should do with your money. Here's how you build wealth. And I was raised by 4 amazing parents. I have 2 biological parents and 2 amazing step parents, and I'm grateful because I am the man who I am today because of my parents. But this book, I was going through earlier, just some of the chapters and some of the stuff that you have in your book, like lesson 5 in chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about past hurts and excuses. Burn some bridges. Comparison is death. But how to forgive someone. That's not just for 11-year-old, bro.
No.
That's for grown people too. Are you
Absolutely.
seeing that with young people? They're having a problem, like they hold grudges?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think a lot of times it is learned. I mean, obviously what you see is what you're going to become. So if, I'm even conscious of that, like with my children, like sometimes I might say like, man, I don't forgive this person, not in those words, but I'm noticing that they're seeing that. And so I'm always working on that for myself because sometimes it's hard to forgive people. But the thing that I tell my kids, and I want to give it away, everything in this book, because I want people to read it. But the thing that I tell my kids, and I would tell people in general, is that obviously we know forgiveness is for ourselves, because if you don't forgive, then that person has the power to control your life. Yeah. And so what's really helped me in that aspect is it doesn't excuse the behavior, but I refuse to allow someone who did me wrong in my past continue to control my future because I'm not willing to forgive them, right? It's like carrying a weight. Wow. And so many people, just think about this, so many people are a reflection of the hurt that someone else gave them. Mm-hmm. Like even in the world that we're living in now, we see hatred, we see people. It's usually because you've been hurt. Yeah. Hurt people. Yeah. And I just refuse in my life, and I just try to preach as much as I can. Like, you don't want to be the thing. You don't want to become the thing that you hated. You don't want to be the pain that someone else gave you, because that's how cycles are created. Yeah. Right. So forgiveness frees you from that. And it's tough, but it's necessary for your future and your growth.
No, you're right, man. It was about 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, I was engaged to an amazing young lady. And she hit me with something that I wasn't expecting. It hurt. It hurt. And I had to walk away from the relationship, from the engagement. She decided at the last minute that she didn't want any more kids. And I was like, well, wait, I'm too young and I don't have any kids. I want kids. And we talked about this. And so I had to walk away respectfully, peacefully. But you're right. Because I was hurt, the very first thing, I jumped into another dating thing, and I hurt that young lady because I wasn't healed, because I didn't take the time to heal. And I became, like you said, the thing I didn't want to become. And so I quickly got out of that, apologized to her, owned up to that as a man. And I stepped back and I went to counseling. I went and seen a therapist. I went and saw a therapist, and I just spent some time to heal because I do not want to hurt people. And so, man, I appreciate you giving this wisdom and knowledge to younger people, because what you're doing in this book is creating a whole person. You're helping them mature. So when they graduate high school, when they graduate college, they're coming out completely just a little more wiser than what I came out at 18 and 19 years old. And that's needed. Wow. You guys, if you just now tuned in, you are here at the table where we're having a conversation where we keep it real, relevant, and
relatable.
And man, today we have a conversation with one of the most influential people in the world. Just a few months ago, he was on the front cover of Success Magazine with my good sister, Rachel Cruz. And I just said, you know what? I really want to talk to this guy because he brings so much wisdom and knowledge to Instagram. If you're not following him on Instagram, you need to wake up. So I'm going to put his Instagram handle below. I'm also going to put a link to his book below, straight up. If you have a young person, any young person, I don't care how old they are, get this book and y'all two read it together and take them through this journey, because I'm telling you right now, it will bless you. It's Trent Shelton, you guys. Man, bro, thanks so much for just rocking with me and just really giving me some wisdom. I want to land here, Trent. As we come to an end on our time, I definitely want to respect your time, and I'm about to go hit the golf course.
Cool. I might need some lessons with that.
Hey, bro, let's do it. I'm very big, bro, on avoiding debt, building wealth, and just making sure that that you're treating your mind like it's a business. So pretty much putting in the hard work. In chapter 8, you talk about hard work. You talk about in lesson 30 and lesson 31, it's not failing if you're trying, and you can't fix lazy. I don't think this is just for a young person. I know 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are lazy. They want the $1 million, but they do not want to put in the work to get the $1 million. They want the Bentley, but they don't want to put in the work to get the Bentley. They want this, but they're not willing to put in the work. I know your story, man. You played professional football. You went from 0 followers on Instagram to 1.9, about to hit 2 million followers. You've clearly put in the work. When you think about putting in the work, where do we start? How do we really put in the work to become successful in our own spaces?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that it starts with you. Yeah. You have to be real with yourself and honest with yourself. As you said, we live in a culture of handouts. Yeah. We live in a culture of entitlement. Yeah. And everybody wants something without actually taking the time to become it. And I kind of blame the social media era, because it's so easy to compare and say, oh, I want that life, but you don't know the sacrifice that person has to make. Like people say, I want to be a motivational speaker. Okay, well, go speak for free to kids for 3 years, 4 years. Go do all of those things.
Tell them,
I don't want to do that. So a lot of people, they want the perks of it, but they don't want to pay the price.
Yes.
And that's a problem. Yeah. Nothing in life will come easy except hard times. That's what I believe.
Yes.
So if you have to ask yourself this question, for one, it's good to have a vision, but you have to understand, are you willing to put in the work it takes to become the person that you say you want to be?
Yes, go.
Are you willing to make the sacrifice that it takes? Because there's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, this. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes on. If you're not willing to make those sacrifices, success in the world's eyes is not something that you will ever obtain. The second thing I would tell you, or third thing, would be to educate yourself.
Come on, man.
Right? If you're getting to anything that you do, educate yourself, immerse yourself in whatever it is that you want to do. Get around people who are better than you. Let down the pride, because you will never grow if you keep yourself in comfort zones. For me, the thing that I did, I seek people out, literally, that I knew would make me uncomfortable, that I knew would make me feel like I wasn't doing much with my life. Mm-hmm. And I had enough worth to know that I'm special, so it didn't make me feel worthless, but I knew I need to turn up a notch. Yeah. When I played football, I got around receivers that were better than me. It's like, dang, I need to turn up a notch.
There you go.
And as long as you have that security in who you are and you get around those people, it'll force you to grow. So I would tell you, educate yourself, get around better mindsets, different mindsets, and then take responsibility, because nothing's going to change without making changes.
That's so true, man. At the age of 19, I was homeless, sleeping in the back of my car, $35,000 in debt, because I was around the people who were fake rich, who were looking like they had all the money. And I went off to school, went to join a particular fraternity, and unfortunately made some bad decisions because of my circle. And then I quickly realized, after I became homeless and after I got out of that season, when I started changing my life around, when I got around the people like your Dave Ramsey's, Mark Cuban's, some of my mentors in my life, Bishop Jakes, Tony Evans, some of these people, I started noticing I see life differently. I see money differently. I see friendships differently. I see relationships differently. I see a lot of things differently. And I'm like you, I hate reading. But I love reading, because the more I read, then the more knowledge that I have and the more I can pass on to my viewers right now who are watching. And I believe if you want to hide something from some people, put it in a book. Because it's like, we don't want to read. Now, if you really want to show them something, put it on social media and put it on TV. But if you really want to put wisdom and knowledge and hide it from certain people, put it in a book. And I said, no, I'm not going to be that guy. So I read more than I actually watch TV. I've challenged everyone, which is why I'm so happy you're on here, because I challenge everyone who follows me. This year, throughout the entire year of 2020, we're going to read one book a month, and then we're also listening to one podcast a week. And so I'm just excited that you're on here because I want them to get this book in August. And if you have a child, I want you to get this man's book. If you're a part of my tribe, and I want you to get this book and read it with your 7-year-old. If you have a 7-year-old, read it with your 10-year-old, 11-year-old, read it with your 20-year-old. If you're a young person, get this book if you're following me, because this will extremely, extremely bless you. So at the end of the show, Trent, we have some fun. So I'm a money guy. I teach young people how to get out of debt, avoid debt. I pay for everything cash, man. So I just bought my dream car, paid for it cash. I just built my house. I put down 40% of that. I'll pay that off by next year. So everything about me is just really about money, stacking your bread, building wealth, starting a business. So at the end of the show, or at the end of this segment, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to have my producer, Connor, ask you a question. We call it Save or Cave. You only can choose one answer, bro. One answer. Okay. There's no right or wrong one, but if you choose the wrong one, I got to holler at you.
They're both wrong.
Okay. So save or cave. So save, like what? So save means just.
So it's basically like a would you rather.
Yeah.
But it's
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
would you rather save money by doing this or doing this?
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
I come up with these on the spot because you can't find much would you rather questions that revolve around money because we like to end it on a money theme. So I came up with this one, and usually Anthony will tell you I'm not very good at these.
He sucks.
Usually when you ask a would you rather question, people are supposed to have a hard time answering it. Well, every time I've asked one, it's like, well, that one, that's easy. So I'm going to ask you this one, and we'll see what you choose. Because I think they're both bad choices, but you can save money by doing either one of these.
All right,
so since you both travel a lot, I'm guessing. I know Anthony does. Yeah. I know you probably do or have. Would you rather save money while traveling by staying in a sketchy, low-rated motel that could have bed bugs, okay? Or saving money by couch surfing with strangers?
Couch surfing.
Yeah, Doc. That wasn't a good one, bro.
Dang it.
I'm doing couch surfing too. You know what I'm saying? Because the couch is clean.
So terrifying.
Hey,
Yeah.
how do you know, though? The couch could have bed bugs, too.
But you ain't say that. So
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, man. Hey, you got a better one?
No, I don't have a better one, bro.
I need to ask better ones.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
I've used all my good ones.
Because I don't do Motel 8s. I travel for a living. I have to be somewhere safe, somewhere clean. It has to be bed bugs.
I'm a hotel freak. That's my weakness with that. Like I have to stay in a good hotel.
See?
I got to be comfortable.
See, and now I need to do some mentorship with him now about this money thing.
Yeah, you do.
No, I'm just playing, man. I do the same thing. Seriously, I travel for a living, and my team know that we only stay in nice hotels, and we only eat at nice restaurants.
I found affordable ones though. I work the deals out. So and
There you
usually,
go.
I mean, with being a speaker, like they usually pay for it. So
Absolutely, yeah. And if they pay for it, it's really nice. It really is, So hey, on that one right there. Yeah, I'm choosing the couch. Stranger's house couch. I'm choosing the couch. I don't do Motel 8s. I don't. I'm not gonna put myself out there, but there's only certain kind of hotels I do too.
All right.
that's
Next
a hard
time.
one though too. By the way,
What's a hard one?
So, meeting strangers, kind of like I'm an introverted person, so. But yeah, I can't do
Stranger's
bed
house could be dirty, man. Like I've stayed in Airbnbs. I walked into this Airbnb once in Florida, and in the entryway, there was someone sleeping on the floor. I swear to you. And this guy barely spoke English, and there was no AC, and it was an Airbnb for like $80. And there was a guy sleeping in the entryway, and I was like, "We need to get out of here." We signed a lease the next day. Like, we got an apartment the next day. So
Yeah.
if I was driving, I'd probably sleep in my car.
Absolutely.
yeah,
If I was doing
that
like
an
either
option.
one, if I was driving to either one of those, yeah, I'll just sleep in my car. If I had to, I'll just sleep in my car because my car is comfortable, very comfortable, especially the back seat.
But that wasn't an option though.
I know.
You gotta choose.
I just gave you an extra option.
All right, C, sleep in my car.
Dude, I wish we
Thank
had
you,
more
man.
time, man. Like, I really do. Because you are a huge influence, and I respect your time. But man, we need to do this again. When the book comes out and people can buy it, we got to get you back on. We got to get you back on.
Let's do it, man.
We got to get you back on.
Let's do it, brother. I
Because-
appreciate you, man, and thank you for what you're doing, who you are. Thank you for sharing your platform with me, man.
Not for sure.
It's good to see, just people coming together, man. That's what it's about. So thank you so much.
That's what it's about, man. I appreciate you, brother. Yo, so check this out, man. That was an amazing interview. I'm a huge fan when I see people who have a heart for young people, because I do. And I want to encourage you, if you have a young person or if you know a young person, get this brother's book. We're going to drop the links in the description below. Go follow him on Instagram. I promise you this brother will encourage you. Get this book and share this book, and let's help build and take his message across the world. Y'all, this is what the table's about, where we just have a real, relatable, and relevant conversation. I didn't even go to Connor because he didn't know what I was going to do.
He faked me out. I was ready, bro. I had my mic on and everything.
But y'all, listen, man, I love you all. Thank you so much. And do me a favor. I haven't asked this for a while, but if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. All right? Because here, I'm not trying to impress you all. I'm not trying to say the right things, and I'm not even trying to sell you a product. I'm just trying to give you hope. I'm just trying to give you a conversation that will inspire you. And if there is a resource or a tool that I believe that will help change your life, then I'm going to push it. But there's no agenda on this show. We're just going to keep it real, relatable, and
You can't do that to me now. You can't do that to me now. Relevant.
my brother Connor. But that's what we want to do, you guys. So share this video. Share the channel. This was a great show. Like, I love it. It was different. But I believe it's time that we help our young people. All right. It's your boy, Anthony O'Neill, and I'm going to see y'all next week. Peace out.